Mornings, the start of a new day. I never really had a solid routine before and I didn't really stick to one. I ultimately have allowed my brain to win every time that I had that split-second thought of resistance, and in the end, I'd end up spending my time scrolling on my phone, looking ironically at the posts of people that I wanted to be like, who did morning routines and were productive in my eyes. But now that's changed. Since actually developing and sticking to my morning routine, I have noticed a significant difference, and this is what I found. Firstly, a morning routine has taught me something that I have been missing and lacking, and that's discipline. Discipline sounds like a heavy word, and it definitely can be used in the wrong sense, but I find that naturally we need a little bit of discipline in our lives. Discipline is the very thing that makes us do things when we don't really want to do them, and I was often giving up before I'd really even tried just because I felt like a slight amount of resistance. Discipline is the very thing that drives us to go to work even though we don't really want to. We understand the consequences if we don't go, so therefore we hold ourselves accountable and we make sure that we do go. On the days that I didn't feel like doing my exercises, don't get me wrong, there were those days. I always asked myself, why have I told myself that I want to do these exercises before I really start my day, if now I'm saying to myself, I don't really want to do them? Now, when I really answered myself honestly, it was purely because I just felt lazy and I couldn't be bothered. And that was ultimately it. It wasn't that I was being too hard on myself, it's that I actually was allowing myself to take the easiest route. It's not about pressurizing yourself, but there are sometimes better options that will benefit you better in the future rather than in the moment right now. One of my goals is actually to do the splits, and it has been on my goal list forever. I've always put it off, I get so close and then I give up, and it's still every single year goes back onto my goal list. I want to do this. But I know very well that when things are difficult or harder or require more effort, that is where you're going to improve the most. All I needed to do was just step out of my own way. I devised and listed the very things that I wanted to be on my morning routine. The first problem that I found was that I was trying to cram in way too much. I wanted to do this, that, and everything else, but I also didn't want to spend too much time doing my morning routine. When I looked back at this, I already instantly saw that it was just not going to be possible in the time frame that I wanted to do. So trial and error, I found the perfect sweet spot of the very things that I ended up sticking to for week after week after week. I kept it simple, I kept it achievable within 1 hour so that I had plenty of time to do the other things that I really wanted to do in the day. Considering I work shifts, so I don't have a 9 to 5, I have a whatever time to whatever time, I can't actually set a particular time to get up every morning. Time of day that I was getting up didn't really matter. All that mattered was what I was doing as soon as I woke up. So the very first thing that I would do is, as soon as my alarm went off for whatever time I decided, I would make sure that I got up straight away, not even allowing myself any time to even think about the possibility of a lie-in, and make my bed. Because I already know that in the first few seconds I might be able to convince myself to stay in bed longer, I remove that option of doing it purely by getting up and then making my bed straight away, so that there's not even the option to get back into it. Once I'm up, I will then do a few crunches, some leg raises, a plank. It's not a lot, it's not a workout, it's not anything strenuous. It's just something to get my body more awake, and then after that I will jump in the shower. I like my showers hot, and I find that it just helps me to wake up more, as well as the fact that it loosens me off a little bit. Showers are like my little mini sacred moment. After that, I'll do my stretch routine, because one of the things I mentioned earlier is that I would like to be able to do the splits. I don't want the splits to just sit on my bucket list again for another time, so incorporating this into more of a daily routine makes me feel like I will actually be able to achieve it this year. After that, I will do my skincare, which is a very simple routine. I would have already used my cleanser in the shower, so after that I use a serum which helps with anti-aging, because prevention is better than cure. Then I'll use a moisturizer which has an SPF in it and mix it in with some vitamin C. Once I'm all done, I'll then go to my desk, which maybe I'll light a few candles and sit down to do my journal. As someone who never used to journal before and never thought they needed to, I was wrong. I have heard over and over again in books, in podcasts, in other YouTubers' videos that are people that I respect, the importance and powers of journaling. I was a little skeptical because I also thought that my head was just far too busy to try and put it down onto a piece of paper. But what I have found is that it's actually done the opposite. It's reorganized my thoughts and actually made it clearer for me to see what I actually want. I don't actually write a lot. I'll just sit down for 10 minutes and write in the journal stuff of how I'm feeling in the day, anything that was on my mind, my goals, and then what I actually want to do for the day. Sometimes it might actually include as well 3 things that I'm grateful for, but that's usually on the days where I felt less confident in myself and I just needed something to give me that extra boost. The journaling alone, I was really surprised how much of a difference that made me feel in terms of feeling more focused, feeling more ready for the day that was about to come, that I had these things that I set out to do, and for some reason I actually did them, which sounds weird to be shocked at the fact that I actually did something I set out to do, but sometimes I do get very distracted along the way. And yet, since journaling, I found that I wasn't getting distracted. By this point of my morning routine, I feel like I'm ready to kind of get stuck into my actual to-do list, but meditation gives me that extra patience, sort of pushback of don't rush ahead. It's just more about really honing in that focus to fully prepare myself for the day. And of course, a morning routine is not without breakfast. On most days, I will just have porridge with some chia seeds, and then I also like to mix in a spoon of honey because I have a little bit of a sweet tooth. I will also very religiously have my coffee every morning, and that's not because I'm dependent, but it is another one of my little pleasures in life. My routine has given me a sense of purpose, and I know that's going to sound really whimsical, but having done all of those things in the first hour of the day made me feel really successful. And as someone that strives for productivity and always putting a lot of things on my to-do list, just by doing that already made me feel like I've done enough for the day. Now, naturally, when you're already rolling at a good speed and a good level and you're feeling confident in yourself and already felt that sense of achievement, you can keep the ball rolling, and that was exactly what I was doing then. I noticed that every day since doing my morning routines, I've found a massive increase in my productivity in the fact that I'm actually completing tasks. It's no longer tasks that I kind of partly do and then, oh, okay, I have to do this again tomorrow because I didn't have enough time, because I got distracted. I'm not having any of that. I found that because I have that sense of achievement at the start of my day, it feels like I've got the ball rolling, so I can keep rolling with it. It benefits you so much more just by doing things and pushing through that self-discouragement. And when you've done that, you feel even more of a sense of achievement. And I think having that moment to practice when you do your morning routine, you have to keep pushing through those moments where you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing my morning routine and I don't want to do my exercises, I can't be bothered to do my stretches. But pushing through that, you know that you've won. And winning against yourself sometimes, when you know that the mindset that you had was almost going to try and sabotage what you actually wanted to achieve, feels even better. It feels way more satisfying to be like, do you know what, I did it. I pushed through and I actually achieved it, and I feel so much better for it. It puts your mind in a healthy place so that when challenges do arise, you're ready for them.